I remember the day they moved into the building where I lived. I used to live in Brookline, in a rental building. There were apartments, and I remember that one day there was a lady there, looked to me as Muslim. She had this long scarf, and she was sitting in the entrance with two little children, and she looked very tired. The children were asleep, and the whole picture, I just remember, seemed a little bit different, I would say. But there was nothing. I thought that maybe she is the grandmother, maybe she is the mother. I wasn't sure, but nothing, that really caught my attention. And one day when we were in the park, it was July 2nd, I remember it very well. I was there with the kids again, and she was there, and she asked me for the time or something very trivial, and I took the opportunity to start asking her questions. She said, "I'm the cousin." I said, "You're the cousin? You're with them all the time. What do you mean?" "I'm from India, they're from Oman." Well, already things are kind of, so I said, "Are you the cousin? You're from India and you came all the way here to take care of them?" And she said, "I'm not really the cousin, but don't tell anyone." I said, "Wow." So I said, "So how much do they pay you? Do they pay you?" Like, of course they have to pay you. You did all that. And she said, "No. I'm just helping them out. I'm just helping them." It's very hard to understand. So I asked, "What do you mean you're just helping them? You need to get paid for that." No, and they said I should not talk to anyone, and I should say I'm just a cousin. I said, no, this is not right. You have to get paid, or just leave them, go work somewhere else. Like, very easy for me to say that. And she looked at me and said, no, I'll be in prison. I said, "This is America. No one would put you in prison. What are you talking about? They would put you in prison?" She said, "And the master coming on July 4th. That's why I remember it so well." And they said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "The husband and the big kids, and they hit me all the time, and I'm afraid." Maybe I didn't understand, maybe. But then she said something that I think that was the thing that made me really think about that. She said, "Please help me."
Over a period of 10 years, they had paid her, of their own admission, $2,000 total. Through Carol's ingenuity and perseverance, that she brought together all these other organizations, the Greater Boston Legal Services and the Cambridge Health Center and the shelters and all of the rest, into what became, a network, which she calls Matahari _TVOS, which is the Trafficking Victims Outreach Service Network. Carol was the linchpin for the whole operation. Once the ball got transferred to Carol, Carol got a whole bunch of different organizations involved. Before long, we had a nucleus that was, an expanding universe of people, all of whom had different disciplines who could help, whether it be psychosocial, medical, legal, financial. We actually got a financial planner involved. There we were on the tube, in the newspapers, and this captured the imagination of a lot of people. They were just as shocked as us, not the rest of us, that this type of thing could happen, particularly in Brooklyn.
she wanted to go back to build her own business, to be free, and to have a future for her children. That's all she wanted. So I think that was a very big success for her and for us, that we were able also to, that Carol was able to connect her with someone, a financial planner that would have her there in India to really build her business.
Through the efforts of all this group, we had saved this woman from this horrible fate, and maybe even changed her life completely. Imagine being so poor and so desperate that you would conceive of going to a foreign country to take care of somebody else's children and get maltreated in the process. It's just, it boggles the mind. So, obviously what we were hoping to do is generate some sort of understanding in the public eye that this was in fact a problem. And this is a real life victim, and there are others out there. And it worked to some extent, because we did in fact get a number of calls, although I must say not as many as I was hoping we'd get, because I know that there are many more victims out there. There are so many cases out there that have sad endings that we don't know about. I mean, you just know it. I mean, how could it possibly be otherwise? These people that came to us accidentally, they're all, within a 5-mile radius of pretty much where we're sitting right now.
You have to be true to everyone, not to come with any assumption that, not to assume that things are the way you think they are, but to be open to the world around you and to listen. I think to listen is the most important thing, and if you listen, if you open your heart, you'll see that, first of all, that there are great people around us, and that there are people that need our help, and that we can help. Not to think that we cannot help. We can really help, and we can make a difference. And everyone I've called, I said, I think I met someone who is in slavery. And I thought to myself, am I stupid, or how could I even use this word? It's not exist, but I just don't know how else could I call it. So I just used this word because I had nothing else in my terminology to use. So when I've called some other friends, one of them told me, when I browsed the internet once, I saw something about anti-slavery organization in Boston. You might want to check that out.